So today we're talking about unseen work. Unseen work is the physical, cognitive, and emotional efforts that we put into accomplishing our jobs that isn't obvious or seen, transparent to other people. Let's take a few examples of unseen work. Maybe it's your job to pull together a presentation for maybe it's for the board of directors or some other really important task. And in the end, it's only 6 or 7 slides, but it took you hours and hours and hours of doing research to make sure that you'd covered all the territory. When you hand in the 6 or 7 page presentation, people's reaction is like, oh, thanks. And you know they have no idea how much went into it. Another example of unseen work would be all the time you spend coaching the new employees and being the one who they call after every meeting to check in, or the people who everyone goes to with their drama and gossip. And you're putting huge emotional labor into the team and keeping everybody on track. And maybe it's cognitive labor where you're having to work through huge amounts of ideas and iterations and drafts to come up with one really short piece of copy. But to get that really, really, really great wording, boy, you went through so many drafts, and somehow nobody appreciates that one sentence or that great paragraph took 2 days. That is unseen work. So unseen work creates problems on teams because our expectations don't match our reality. We know how much we put into doing something, but when our teammates or our boss see that work, they just kind of shrug and don't get how much went into it. We're hoping and expecting to get 5 gold stars, and all we get is a check mark. It just doesn't feel good. Now, imagine what happens if everyone on the team is in the same circumstance. Everyone's doing huge amounts of unseen work. Well, then everyone feels like they're harder done by, they're more accountable, they're putting in a lot of effort, or they're getting the short end of the stick. Everyone feels hard done by, and that can create not only frustration, but a lot of resentment. And that resentment can spill over into mistrust and really have a negative effect on a team. So if this idea resonates with you, if you think, it's truly, I do have a lot of unseen work, well, it's a really important thing to get a handle on as soon as possible. The good news is that's pretty easy. So I'm going to give you an exercise you can do with your team to try and solve this issue. The first thing is to raise the issue, broach the topic with your teammates. Maybe just pass on the video. Hey, what do you think? Get them talking about, do they have unseen work? You can even just say, I feel like I have lots of unseen work, which makes me think you probably do too. Would love to talk with you about it. Then what you're going to do is ask everybody to spend a couple of weeks making a list of the things that are on their unseen work list. Don't try to have the complete list. Then it's just going to look like you're complaining. But instead, pick out a few different types of things. So one, if there is something that you think your teammates would be very surprised at how much work it takes. Imagine the weekly sales report, and people think you just knock it off in an hour and all good. But you know that it takes going into Salesforce.com to get some data, into, your SAP system to get other data. And then there's this crazy Excel spreadsheet that Gary maintains for his team. Maybe they have no idea that it's a full day every week just building that sales report. So if there's something particularly surprising, that's a great thing to include on your list. Another thing to include on your list is things that you think are particularly dumb or useless, where you suspect that when people find out how much effort it takes, they're going to say, why bother? The third thing to include, or the third type of unseen work to include on your list, is things that are just particularly unpleasant for you, aversive or taxing. It's really important to have an opportunity to say, this is killing me. So that's another good category. So things that are particularly surprising, things that are just silly and inefficient, and things that are hard on you. Create your list, and at the end of the couple of weeks, share it with your teammates. You're going to try and categorize everybody's lists into 2 different categories. Some of the things on the list are going to be things that you say, unfortunately, we can't get away without doing the sales report. It's needed. It goes right up to the top of the organization, and it's a bit kludgy for sure how you have to build it, but unfortunately for now, we can't make it any better. But the good news is that it's not going to be unseen work anymore. So it goes from being unseen to being acknowledged and recognized and hopefully rewarded. So that's one category. How can I actually understand that there's some things I'm still going to need to do, but I'm going to feel better because I feel like my colleagues and my boss have a sense of how much it takes in terms of investment in psychological, physical, emotional, cognitive effort to do it. Just one other note, if your colleague has things like that on their list, make sure you find ways to acknowledge it. So if it's Thursday and that means they're doing the sales report, you might want to include on your own emails that, this is not something that I want you to handle till after the sales report is done. Just say it right there in the email. Alternatively, send them a funny video or something that says when you need a break from the sales report. Just little tiny things that say, I know you're doing that, and it's recognized and appreciated. The second category is things where, and hopefully this is up to half of your lists, is things where you say, we need to stop, or we need to make that a lot smaller, or we need to get somebody more appropriate to do that. And your unseen labor probably has some things on it that people say, you're still making that report? Oh yeah, I don't need that anymore. Or, why are you doing that? Isn't that what we hired Sammy to do? So the second category is things where you can come up with a plan to change and remove a lot of the unseen work. Not just tolerate it and bear it, but actually change it for the better. So that's a simple exercise you can do. First of all, to make yourself more aware of your unseen work and how it's creating resentment for you. Then to make your colleagues aware and to increase the empathy you have for one another, and to find some good problem solving to move things off the list. So these are some techniques for removing unseen work from your team. I think you'll find when you go through this, you'll feel a lot better, and the trust and the communication among your team, and maybe even the workforce planning and sharing the workload, will go better as well. So I'm wishing you very good luck with tackling your problem with unseen work. And don't forget to subscribe and click the bell, because I'll be back with more tips and techniques for helping you create a happy, healthy, and productive team.